teaching log for part 1, I guess. Today I am going over the assignments my students have to do for this first progression. The very first exercise that they have to turn in is like a summary and analysis. So after going over the progressions, I'm going to be talking about summary and analysis. And even though I want to use the stories that I assign them to read as examples, I don't want to help them do their homework. So I'm actually going to take a different approach, and I'm showing them movie trailers and specific scenes of a TV show that kind of goes over a summary and analysis. The one that I'm thinking about right now is Sherlock Holmes, but through BBC America or BBC. And in the scene where Sherlock meets John Watson, and he first and just straight up asks Afghanistan or Iraq. And then to kind of give them an example of how he analyzed this person in one way or another is a clip later in that same episode where he's like, okay, how did you know I was a war soldier? Which I think is going to be a really good exercise for them to see what a summary is, meaning what's going on or what it looks like it's going on, and then the analysis of the layer below that. I think this is a really good contrast, and I'm excited to see that. I also had them read 2 essays from Waves, which is a student publication book here at my school. And I might put them into groups and have the groups, 2 groups summarize the article while the other 2 groups analyze it. So if time permits it, I don't know, but I'll see how it goes, and I'll talk to you again in a few seconds. But for me, again, at least an hour and a half, 2 hours would have passed. Talk now. Teacher log for part 2. I went to class. I had my students do a free write. And the free write was, what's the difference between summary and analysis? Gave them 5 minutes, had music playing throughout those 5 minutes, and it gave me a chance to go over my progression really quickly before talking to them about it, so that way I can understand it. I did tell them last class and the week before to print out the progressions, have questions to ask for clarification, and they were great about that. I read some of the most important elements, and I kind of explained to them the articles, because my progression says something along the lines of use an essay and a story. In the first week of class, I gave my students 3 articles to read. One of them they wrote their in-class essay on, so that way I can get an idea of their writing. I want them to use those 3 articles, or at least one of the 3 articles. I know it's not a scholarly article, it's more opinion-based, but they bring up, the authors of these articles bring up really good ideas. With this progression, first assignment, they're looking at this article, kind of thinking of the ideas that bring up one of those articles that the article brings up, and they're picking one of the Little Red Riding Hood stories from the packets. I know that the Little Red Riding Hood story gets repetitive throughout the 4 different editions of it, but I want them to pick one, and they were really great as far as asking questions, clarification. They were great as far as talking what a summary is and what an analysis is, because I was like mind blown. I was trying to figure out, how am I going to teach students a summary and analysis, because even I don't know what it is, but they were doing great. After going over all of the progressions, they seemed to have a better idea. I did not specify on my progression if it was a hard copy or not. And a student brought up an excellent question, like, is this hard copy? And yes. After that, I kind of went over summary and analysis, so that way they can do their assignment for the next class. And the way I did it is I showed them movie clips. there was 4 movie clips that I picked, or show clips, and I had them randomly pick 2 of the links that I had on my PowerPoint. The first one they picked was a season trailer for Once Upon a Time, a TV show that integrates fairy tales in the real world, which was amazing. Once the student picked it, I clicked the link because I honestly didn't remember what links I put up. I'm like, yes, you picked an excellent one. Watch that, and then, all right, do you think you have a main idea of what's going on in the show? And yeah, even if they haven't watched that show. Then the same with the second one. The second one was the trailer for Infinity War. That one got mixed reviews. My students were like, one of the questions that I asked after the trailer was shown is, does this trailer do the movie justice? Does it give it a summary of the film? Some people said yes, because they watched the movie. Some people said no. The ones that said no is like, well, they didn't talk about the Infinity Stones and how that's important. They didn't talk about like Black Panther, things like that. And I was like, yes, fantastic. Whoopsie, fantastic. So now you can see the difference between it. I have 2 other links on my PowerPoint, which I made live for them so they can see it. And then I went to the analysis part. And for the analysis, I showed them Sherlock by BBC. It's on Netflix, but I found YouTube video clips. And I'm like, all right, look at this scene. And it's when Sherlock meets John Watson. And the first question Sherlock asks is, Afghanistan or Iraq? And I paused it right after that. I didn't give them any other context. And the students were like, wait, what? I played the clip again. And they're like, all right. You only see what's going on, but Sherlock is analyzing this character down. He's digging deeper and you're not. So then I went to another video clip, and Sherlock explains how he knew John Watson was a war hero or a soldier, and it breaks down, like the tan lines of your hand doesn't go to your arm, it just stops at the wrist, your face is also tan, the way you walk and hold yourself, and your phone, things like that. And Sherlock's just like listing all the details, and John Watson's like, that was amazing. And once the students saw that, they're like, oh, like it just clicked. And that was amazing. And by the time I wrapped up the PowerPoint, because that was like the last part, I just asked if they had any questions on the difference between summary and analysis, had any questions of the assignment, because we had about a little over 5 minutes left in class, and it seemed like they didn't have any questions. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm done for today, so see you next class. Do your readings, do your homework assignment, bring it in class. Done. Oh man, I'm so nervous though, because I thought it was great. They were active, everyone was trying to participate, and well, not everyone, but it was great. I do realize that I did not give my students a grading rubric, and one of my students did ask me for one, so I'm gonna go on with the rest of my day that I have to do. And then tomorrow morning, I have to look up a rubric to give my students for these assignments and for the essay. The good thing is I gave my students a rubric last class, kind of using structure, argument, audience awareness, organization, and citation. And he's like, can we just use that? I'm like, yeah, use that so that way you know if you're hitting the points. But man, I don't know. That's it for teaching log number 4, and we'll see how next class goes, because that one's where we're talking about writing letters and focusing more on audience awareness.